presentation about Dark Souls, and this is what you're seeing is the opening sequence. Just a cutscene. I can skip it. What I want to talk to you about in this presentation, however, is that how Dark Souls, through its level design and productions, basically the element of the productions, or what is that was put into the game, actually conditioned the player on how to interact with this world, and it's just simply brilliant. This game, when you look at it from the element of behavioral psychology, you will see that this is basically behavioral psychology 101. Okay, so here we are at the start of the game. The Divine Blessing is actually a gift that I have chosen for us from the beginning, but I just gonna remove it. Currently and just let the game take its course. Wait for me for a moment. I'll proceed and then we'll talk some more. So here we are at the start of the game. You use the dungeon key, which you pick up off the corpse, and you walk out. You see the message, you read it. This is camera control with the mouse on PC. This is the attack button. Now, I want to show you something first. As you can see, I damaged the enemy, this one enemy right here, but it doesn't fight back at all. I will get some more, the strong attack. Here, it doesn't progress, it doesn't even aggro. It's aware of my existence, it's continuously looking at me, but the enemy itself does not react to my attack. Now I can dash, which is running, and as you can see, the stamina bar, which is represented by that little green bar up ahead whenever that I do something, is gonna cost stamina, and it slowly regenerate. Target lock, another key element, which is conveyed through message, but this messaging will soon end, as you can see. Now I'll show you something else as well. When I attack, you can see that my stamina goes down, and if I attack up to a certain point, I can't attack anymore, as you can see. The game forces you to consider your attack, your approach, and everything else when you are doing something in the game world through stamina management. The stamina is continuously regenerating, but you also have to watch out for it, otherwise you might get stuck at a crucial moment. Light the bonfire, recover HP. This is basically a checkpoint mechanic. There's only one option to leave now, so I just leave it there. But there will be the first moment when the game teaches you something very soon. Just using its mechanics. And 3, 2, and 1, and here we go. The enemy was designed to be intimidating, as you can see, and its attacks are extremely powerful in comparison to you. This is what happens when you attack it with your weapons. Even with your weapons, and you lock on and everything else that you have learned, you can see that how little damage you actually do to this thing. It's too big, it's too strong. You cannot manage to fight it. Not with this. Sooner or later, it's gonna kill you. Now, actually a veteran at Dark Souls, which is why I know what to do with this thing. But I'm still I'm still gonna die anyway. There's an instruction on the floor. I will try to read it this time. See what it says, which is to replicate. What is that? The first game. What is that? The first playthrough would look like for a newbie. Just pay attention a little bit to the loading screen. I'll talk to you about the loading screen in a moment. Now, as you can see, why the strong enemy? Well, I'll explain. Now, in this particular instant, get away. See? Immediately. So you have to find a way not to fight this thing, but to run. So where do we run to? That small door, as you can see that I'm heading towards right now. Immediately you're safe. And look, there's a bonfire again. Now, there's a new checkpoint for you to set in the world. This is very similar to a lot of checkpoint mechanics. Get your shield. Now, why is that big enemy is teaching you? Well, in Dark Souls, if something that you heard about it, you probably heard about it, is that it's incredibly difficult. The game is incredibly difficult and you die a lot. You probably never play Dark Souls. You play another different video game, but you still know Dark Souls through the meme. The meme that say you die. Well, that's what Dark Souls do. It kills you a lot, but it also teaches you through mechanics. This is how it teaches you to use your shield. The boss, though, that boss was supposed to teach you that there are obstacles on your way that are just too much for you. What you have to do is that you have to find your own way in this world. Nobody can hold their hand. Nobody can hold your hand. Remember, this game came out in 2010, where a lot of hack and slash games are just basically holding your hand. Well, in this particular instant, the developers allowed you to find your own way in the world. You pick up a shield, you pick up a sword, and then nobody holds your hand anymore. You are supposed to fight that thing, but how do you fight that thing? Well, you can't, so you have to get away. Backstep, another mechanics taught through messages. Now, when you cannot fight something, you get away. You find better equipment, a better way to approach things, and then you get it back. There's always a path. You have to find it. The path may not be. Oh, and that too. That is also another brilliant thing about Dark Souls. That is basically teaching you that there will be traps in this world. A lot of it. And it doesn't mean that in this tutorial you don't get to live free. Oh, an NPC. Yeah, that's just faster. I would say that it's plural, but it's just faster than hearing him talking. I want to continue my presentation. So, as you can see, that the game is guiding you but not holding your hand. The enemy was supposed to teach you that there are better paths, but there's also that challenges are not gonna be easy on you just because you are new. This world doesn't care that you are new. This world gonna kill you. And either way, you have to accept that. Two-hand weapon. When you two-hand a weapon, your swing are much stronger. See, do you notice some pattern here? Let me show you again. See, there is a long wind up to the enemy attacks. That long wind up, as I can show you again and again in this video, is actually intentional. The developers know how hard this game that they designed gonna be. So every time that you have a wind up, and every time the enemy have a wind up, it's basically a signal towards you, so that you can either get away or you can hold up your shield. Another subtle cue, but when you get close to it, you realize that it's really well done. And again, let me show you. I can attack, and see the long wind up, and the guy still kill me. Not gonna lie, it's still hard even though that I'm a veteran. But same old. The game doesn't care about you. Its difficulty. That's why its difficulty cannot be adjusted like many games of this contemporary. Like there will be easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, whatsoever. No, the challenge remains the same. You can up the ante with the challenge, but that's it. As you can see, I'm depleting my stamina by running after the guy, and that's a backstab. That's basically a reward mechanic, you can say, for you to sneak upon the enemy or try to dodge around them, so that when you actually make an attack, it will be much more effective against them. Now I'll show you how we fight with the boss, and this is actually just brilliant. Now you traverse through it, and then you look down, you see that fat bastard again. That's the same guy that he kills you the first time. Now what do? See, you can wait around, and then he gonna fight, and then he gonna do that to you, which is not cool, by the way. Definitely not cool. Or you can do a plunging attack, which is what I'm about to do. A plunging is basically a drop down from. It's basically a drop attack, a vertical attack. You can say a vertical drop attack. That you can make. That can do huge damage and gives you a lot of advantages when it comes to battle. Now, the game again doesn't hold your hand and it doesn't tell you what to do. You just have to do it. Like the first time that I played this game, I actually make the same mistake that I just made with you. That I don't know what to do because I was too scared. He killed me once, and that he killed, and I was afraid that he gonna kill me again. So I didn't do anything, and he ended up just jumped up and just wrecked my stuff, just as you said. At like this time as well, like he did last time as well. Oh, something. He dropped something. A broken strike sword. Okay. So the long wind up. I gotta jump away. Fight him. Get on with it, and as you can see, it's deal massive damage to plunging attack. This is how the game teaches you how to fight, but at the same time doesn't hold your hand, and the whole entire fight actually have another meaning. Now, do you remember that the last time you came here, you he got you killed when you didn't have the equipment, you didn't have the skill, you didn't have the equipment, you don't know anything, you don't have the shield or anything, and he kills you. He just like that, it kills you. Well, it's not like that anymore. This time you have healing items. This time you have your sword, you have your shield, you have your equipment. You can beat him. This demon aesthetic he is huge, he is big, he is everything that you don't want to face, but he is the one thing that you have to face, and he kills you. That's gonna wreck you up, but at the same time, after you defeat him, it teaches you a lesson that when there is too much of a challenge, you find another way, and then you come back and then you face the challenge. The challenge is there for you to overcome. It's not there for you to just simply block off your way. You are to overcome the challenge. And now we're off to the hub area. We just exited the tutorial of the game. I skipped the cutscene. It's not necessary. Oh, come on. Why is it so long? Level up and kindle a bonfire. Another instruction that has to be conveyed through text. I cannot level up. As you can see, when I level up, it requires soul. It say right here, soul and requires souls. Like right up above vitality is the number of required soul. Right now I lack 59 soul to level up again. And when you kill the enemy, you gain soul. Basically, soul in this game is like your experience point that you have accumulated for you to spend later on. Now that's another aspect of the game that's really well done. I'm gonna show you something by killing myself. It's not that hard to kill yourself in this game. Watch. You die. Now, when you die, loading. Now, when you die, you'll notice that there will be a certain drop on the ground. It basically said something of a blood stain. It basically says something along the line of a blood stain. When you touch the blood stain, you regain your soul. See? Recover lost power. Retrieval. I get my souls back, 699, just like it's supposed to be. Now, what this does is that every time you die in the world, the mechanic is that it's gonna leave a blood stain behind. And that particular piece of blood stain isn't gonna stay there forever. If you die twice in a round without reaching your blood stain, you will lose that experience forever. And instead, there will be a new blood stain that contain the experience that you have, your soul, before you die the second time. It's basically accumulative, but it's also say that if you die without reaching your previous blood stain, that basically means that you messed up. You didn't learn from your mistake. You make a lot of mistake and you didn't learn from your mistake, which is just another bad thing. Now here is the hub area of the game. There is no instruction on what you're supposed to do. There is nothing telling you where you can go, and nobody to tell you that. Now you can go here, or up, or down, or literally anywhere in this world. This is almost a free game, and this is almost a free world game, but it's actually level design. Why? I'll show you in just a moment. Oh, that is definitely not intentional, I swear. Yep, even as a veteran, sometimes I forget about these drops. Oh, by the way, that's another thing. These constant dying is actually a cool way of doing it. That there is a problem in free world game that people have too much freedom, and people won't pay attention to the detail that you put into the world because they can go just about anywhere. Like a lot of guys can, gonna have problems with keeping themselves entertained and finding stuff to do because the game is just too big. So how do you do that? You limit the game. But how do you limit the game naturally? Well, your character is frail. He isn't. Your character is really frail. He isn't some He isn't some superhero. He can die, and he can die over and over again. Now, because there is no instruction, I'm just gonna go down here. There are some skeletons. I'm gonna face them, and immediately, as you can see, they proceed to wreck me up. And my weapon is it's basically non-functional against these guys. What does it do? It conveys a message. You can go anywhere, just not here, not yet. Again, it goes back to the big bad boss. Come back later with better equipment, better level, better skill, everything. Now you can try again. You can go a different area. When you try a new area, it'll be something along this. So there's a stairway here. I just go down and down, and oh, more stairway. So I can go down some more. I'll just keep on going down because there's no path. There's only you discover the path for yourselves. So you have to find it. You have to find the path. Now you learn how to use elevator in this game by just stepping on this, and then you see that there's a button. You step on it, it starts to elevate you, or well, it's basically an elevator. You can see it's basically an elevator. See? Now when you go down here, you realize that everything is dark. Everything is dark, pitch black. There are some enemies over here. Like, unlike the other enemy, they do fight back, but they are really weak as well. So you don't have to worry too much about them. You just kill them. It's pretty easy. Yeah, this one is definitely cosplaying from Titanic. Oh, there's a cool thing too, that the frailty that I talked about with our character being frail, apply also to these guys. If they fall from great heights, they gonna die. If they fall off the map, they gonna die. It doesn't. They do not have some sort of superpower to prevent them from dying of a thing that kills you. No, they are the same as you. The laws applies to everybody. It's fair. You slaughter them. You keep on slaughtering them. But you also feel pity for these guys because they're just really, really poor. They're in ragged. And as you can see, this one, he is clearly in pain. Let me put him out of his misery. There. Okay, so where to next? You don't know. And you see a couple of lights. You see this guy. You see a couple of lights. You decided, you go. Oh, right there. So you continue to go, you continue to walk towards it, the lights. You just keep on walking. An enemy. See? You cannot attack them for some reason. Well, actually because they are ghosts. You belong to the living, so you cannot attack them. They killed you, so you know that you're not supposed to go here again. Also, there's another thing, that this area is particularly dark. It's gonna discourage you from trying to explore it unless you have a good reason to be here. Again, it's just using the elements and the environment to tell you where to go, how to do it. It's a cool mechanic. It's a really cool mechanic. And how is that it's designed is basically and how it's designed is basically teaching you on what to do. Now, as you can see, we have faced like 2 kinds of enemies so far, like one boss and just the guys in rag, like the pink guys in rag, the pink zombies in rag, and now we have a new type of enemy. They dress better, but they still attack randomly. These are the soldiers. And new enemies in this game are constantly introduced to you, and as you can see, these guys, I wanna fight them because I can do good damage against them. Oh, see? Bombs. They trying to bomb me. They trying to bomb me. If you're standing around and be inactive, see? They cannot just bomb you. They force you to move. Now, just by placing these guys here, you know that you're heading the right track because, well, these guys are the one thing that you can fight in this whole entire world currently, actually. You cannot go anywhere else. So it's basically a free world in theory, but by using the good element of design, it forces you to reconsider your approach, and you have to continue going where things takes you. So it's really dark. You don't want any surprises here. Take things slow. You keep on going. And then you ascend up, and then more enemies like this. These guys also know how to use a shield, as you can see. They're much smarter. They have different weapons. They don't just use knives anymore. They have axes now. Like one of those axes is actually really cool. Like if you want to have one of those axes later in the game. They throw bombs at you. They try to ambush you. Etc. Now, they show you the way just by the enemies, but there is and by introducing new enemies constantly, they're actually forcing you to learn the new patterns of these enemies. See, these guys can do a jumping attack, like I can leap towards you and hurt you. You don't want that to happen, so when you see the wind up, you also have to get away, but also not just getting back, but you have to actually try to go to the side. The new type of enemies keeps you entertained, keeps you learning. Now, learning using patterns. That's what typical video games and 80s video games, especially Metroidvania, is all about. You learn the enemy's pattern. You learn the enemy's pattern of attack. You learn the enemy pattern of everything, and then you come back and you try some more. If you die, you come back, you try some more, etc. Now, the same thing occurs in this game, only that these kind of enemies are continuous. there are new enemies continuously being introduced to you so that you can get used to them better over time. Now, the checkpoints. This is actually the last one, the last basic mechanics I want to talk about. But the checkpoint is also really cool. That because this is a checkpoint, I sit down, I have my health restore. As you can see, I have my health restore. The enemy also restore, and the healing item also restore. So what happens? Well, it's actually free up a lot of space and creative space for the developers, because they now have a sequence. The sequence is basically a journey. Sequence is basically my name for a journey between one checkpoint and another. They can characterize how you feel, like the gamer's feeling, just by placing the right thing between one checkpoint and another. And because the healing items are limited, you are allowed basically healing items are mistake allowance. You can say you can call them mistakes allowance. If and healing items are limited, meaning healing items are limited until you reach your next checkpoint, is forces you to reconsider your every approach, as in, do you have enough health left for you to proceed up until the next encounter? Do you have enough health left to reach where you want to go, to get to the next checkpoint, or get back, or do you want to get back and get some more health, and try again and level up, etc., etc. Basically, every sequence play out differently, and every sequence will have this threshold of mistake allowance. Like, because I haven't get into the later area of the game, so you wouldn't know, but actually that in the later area of the game, like, the healing items aren't that much better, but at the same time the enemy is much stronger. Even though that you are also much stronger. So it's basically forcing you to reconsider. It's basically forcing you to be better, to learn faster about the enemy and their pattern, so that you won't, how do you say it, get killed, so that you won't succeed. It's really hard. So as you can see, why Dark Souls is called a hard game, like the difficulties isn't the one thing that makes it special, even though that it is one of the unique feature. Is actually the design of the world, how the world was designed, and how it's designed to characterize the player's journey and the player's senses when they step into this world. And that's my presentation. Thank you.